a lone Russian soldier moving across a field was spotted by a drone. During the drone's observation, the soldier behaved unpredictably, sometimes trying to hide from the drone by jumping in different directions, sometimes pretending it wasn't there and continuing to walk calmly. Most likely, this was not his first such sortie, which could indicate concussion. However, ignoring the problem would not help to solve it, so the drone continued to circle around the soldier, looking for the right moment to strike. When it found it, it launched an attack that proved fatal for the soldier. A high-altitude reconnaissance drone detected fire activity in the suburbs. Upon closer inspection, it became clear that these were missile launches from the Strela 10 air defense system, which is in service with the Russian army. After a series of missile strikes, the Strela team received orders to flee their positions due to the approach of an FPV drone. However, despite reaching the maximum speed of the air defense missile system, this was still not enough, as the drones were much faster and more maneuverable, making it easy for them to hit the cockpit with a kamikaze drone. After the strike, missiles that had not been launched due to the danger of a drone attack, which later proved successful, detonated. Sudden changes in weather can be dangerous for drones, and on such a rainy and foggy day, it was decided to reduce the number of patrol drones. However, one of the remaining drones spotted a whole column of Russian soldiers with vehicles, howitzers, and tanks, and after reporting this, waited for reinforcements in the form of kamikaze drones and drones capable of carrying combat payloads. In total, 5 trucks, 2 self-propelled guns, 1 tank, and the crews of each vehicle were destroyed. The convoy played an important logistical role as it was transporting ammunition which detonated and gasoline, i.e., some of the things that are critically necessary in their reality. Despite all efforts to protect their vehicles with improvised materials, it was in vain because experienced pilots leave no intact parts of them thanks to their drones. The Russian military system operates on the principle that if you find yourself in danger, you are left to your own devices. This means that soldiers who have been left behind during an assault, or those who have accidentally survived shelling and destruction, cannot count on support from their commanders or reserves. They have to find shelter on their own, whether it be pits, underground shelters, or buildings they themselves have destroyed, where they once hid or fought. However, the reality is that none of these provide real cover. Modern drones, armed with combat charges, are capable of penetrating walls and concrete, destroying any temporary shelter. Soldiers who did not have time to hide find themselves completely defenseless. They live in constant fear, feeling that any moment could be their last. This system leaves people alone with danger, forcing them to survive in extreme conditions without support. Even the slightest chance to hide often proves futile, and those who manage to escape death today will not have the same chance tomorrow. In a world where weapons of destruction are becoming increasingly devastating, soldiers are forced to seek refuge where there is none. It is a system that effectively condemns people to fight death alone, without any reliable support, without any chance of help. And the Russian reality is that only those who happen to be outside the strike zone survive. A night patrol spotted a Russian soldier trying to escape on a stolen motorcycle, but he was extremely lucky the first time due to a communication failure with the drone, which prevented the operator from targeting him immediately. The motorcyclist tried to take advantage of this opportunity, but his skills were far from what he needed in this situation, causing him to fall off the vehicle. But he did not give up and imagined himself a marathon runner, running as fast as he could from the drone. However, while he still had a chance on the motorcycle, the drone now had a clear advantage, which the operator took advantage of, taking away the possibility of continuing his career as a marathon runner. Russian military equipment on the battlefield is destroyed by drones. This became such a frequent occurrence that their commanders began to wonder, how can we protect our tanks from these flying threats? Using what they called their collective intellectual resources, they came up with what they believed was a solution: improvised anti-drone armor. To prove the idea, they decided to test these innovations in real combat. But reality was far harsher than their expectations. The very first drone attack pierced the tank's frontal armor, leaving it vulnerable. And once the defenses were breached, wave after wave of drones continued striking the vehicle, disabling it piece by piece. When the tank was no longer able to move, another drone flew in directly above it and dropped a powerful explosive charge. In an instant, the once formidable war machine was reduced to nothing more than a burning, useless pile of scrap metal. As mentioned earlier, fleeing Russian soldiers desperately try to hide in anything that even remotely resembles shelter. They crawl into ruined houses, squeeze into half-collapsed basements, or dig themselves into shallow pits in the ground, hoping that these improvised hideouts will protect them. But in reality, none of these places offer safety. When a strike comes, not only are they torn apart by shrapnel, but the very structures they cling to become their graves. Walls of shattered houses collapse on top of them, roofs cave in, and the earth from hastily dug pits buries them alive. Instead of shelter, these hiding places turn into traps, sealing their fate. And in the end, no matter where they run or how deep they try to hide, survival is nearly impossible. None of them make it out alive.